This story is a happy story. It's a story about the bonding with a young boy in Burma whose name was Nodu Tu. And the story starts really in Nicaragua and Costa Rica when I went on a humanitarian mission deep into the jungles of Nicaragua with some former American Special Forces medics. And on that mission, it lasted a few weeks. We were in Costa Rica, then we went into Nicaragua. And I got to know these guys really well. Later on, I was contacted by a man named John, who was given my name by way of reference to go into Burma with him. He was teaching the fourth phase of a medical program for combat medics in the Korean Army. The Korean Army was at war with the Burmese government, and they had been at war since the end of World War II. They were seeking a place to have their own country, their own freedom, and their own space. And they only have about 5,000 soldiers, and the Burmese army at the time had about 500,000. Yet they have been able to survive this difficult war for a very long time. And we spent some time in Thailand staging together, training, getting ready to go into Burma. And then we made the journey. We made the journey with a short plane ride, and then we took a very long truck ride to a river, which I was in the back of the truck in jungle roads in monsoon season. And we ended up on what's called a dragon boat, which took us significant distance down the river to the Korean Army's area on the Burmese side of that river. So during this time, John was teaching the medical program to the Korean medics. Some of these medics had traveled 4 to 5 weeks on foot to get to this location. Great sacrifices were made. And my job in country was to watch John's back. John had been a Green Beret for about 40 years and had done time in Vietnam and as a guy in charge of the Montagnards, which is the indigenous tribes in a group called Mike Forces. So he was very familiar with the Southeast Asian cultures and the people. He spoke fluent Thai. As a matter of fact, his call sign in Thai was Bak Sai, which is medic. The people of Burma are an extremely beautiful people. They have this very unique look for the most part. These beautiful, beautiful almond eyes and beautiful skin. And the women will put powder on their faces. Or it's like a clay, and that's a sign of beauty. And they wear very bright, colorful clothing. They're very happy people in the midst of a very difficult circumstance. When we got into country, I would be positioned in front of the hooch where John was teaching the fourth phase of this medical program to this brigade from the Korean Army, young men and women, who were then going to go back into the field and impart their skills and perform their services to save lives, which was the purpose of this mission. It was a humanitarian mission, not a combat mission. Even though we were in a combat zone in a war-torn area, it was not our purpose. And while he was in there teaching, I would provide security. I would be the watchdog. I was there to cover John's back. And I would be in most of the time on the front of the hooch, sitting there, and the kids would come to me in large numbers sometimes, and they would be curious about me because I'm a very tall American, light hair and light eyes, and I don't fit the landscape very well. And the people there, the indigenous people, would gawk at me and look at me and smile and laugh, and I would make jokes with them in my American way, and they would giggle, and they were just cute, beautiful people. I fell in love with them immediately. There was a particular little fella who became my shadow in country, and his name was Nodu Tu. And Nodu Tu didn't speak much, if at all, but he had this infectious grin that just lit up the entire area where we were. And every day, every morning, he would show up at my hooch where John was going to be teaching, and he would hang out. And he'd play in the river, and he'd play with this top that he had, which was made out of some local materials with a nail in it. And he had a string, and he would spin it and chase it, and spin it some more and chase it some more. it just was impressive to me how much this little fella could find joy in simple things. I was struck by how much we have in America and how much we've been given and we're blessed with, but how happy this boy was with very little in a jungle landscape in a war-torn country. That had a significant impact on me, and I began to bond with Nodu. I had brought with me in country some 550 cord. Now, 550 cord is parachute cord, and inside this parachute cord it has little strands, and those little strands are fibers that can be used for survival, for fishing, lacing, lashing. And the 550 cord itself can be used for lanyards, shoelaces. It's designed for parachutes. Each strand holds about 550 pounds, which is why it's called 550 cord. And I would make bracelets, those survival bracelets that are woven. And occasionally I would attach a coin from Thailand. I would hollow it out and put it on the end. And I would give these to the children. And I would make dozens of these over the time I was in country. And little Nodu would sit with me, play with his top and play with the stick, play with the pig called Herman, which was living underneath the hooch where I was sitting most of the time or standing. And we just enjoyed each other's company. There was a spirit of love and friendship that existed between us that I carry with me to this day. I think of him all the time. When I got back, I made actually a big, huge poster at a print shop, a huge cardboard poster. So when I do seminars on this mission, I actually feature him in his big, infectious grin with that light around his countenance. The place in and of itself is extremely dangerous. I remember hearing the story before I went into Burma about 1,000 Japanese soldiers during World War II had gone into the jungle, and not one of them came out alive. And it wasn't because of enemy activity. It was because of the crocodiles, the tigers, the snakes, all the things that can hurt you in that place. Yet the people still carry with them, even though they're in the middle of a war zone, they carry with them a peace and a joy and a sense of family and a sense of simplicity that we sometimes in Western cultures lack, because we have so much to distract us and so much we seek and so much we possess already. And that had another huge impact on me. Spending time with this little fellow, Nodu, my little shadow, my little friend. We're so different in where we come from. We're so different in what our futures look like. Yet the common bond was one where everything that was cultural or language barriers was peeled away, and we became best of friends. The time came when the course was over and I was notified by the Korean government that we would be moving out of Burma because it was dangerous and they were expecting some more problems. So we moved to have the graduation. Instead of doing it on the Burma side of the border, we moved back into the dragon boats, moved way upstream, back down to the trucks and into Thailand, and had the graduation ceremony there where it was safer. On the way out of this village, I was seeking Nodu. Now we had to leave pretty hastily and pretty quickly at this time, so there was not time to really find him, to say goodbye to him. And to this day, that bothers me just a little bit because I wanted to tell him that I love him. I wanted to tell him that I would be back if I could to help him and his people. I wanted him to have a good life, a life that is safe, where there's enough food and opportunity for him. And a lot of those things wouldn't mean anything to him because he was only little. I don't know how old he was, maybe 4, 5, 6. But I wanted so much to just connect with him one more time before I left. You know, he wore that dang survival bracelet from the moment I made it for him, all the way till the last time I saw him, which was the day before I left. And as this, big American here that's been all over the globe and done some hard things and some very heartwarming things. I had been affected by a little fella in a remote jungle in a war-torn land, and he changed my life. I mean, here I am, a decade later, telling a story about him, talking about him. We have a tremendous opportunity in mortality in this life to make a difference in the lives of people. If we could just put down the noise for a season, for a time, and reflect and ponder and even pray, doors will be open for us. And they don't have to be 5,000 miles away in remote jungles. They can be in our own backyard. And that's really what I pulled out of the experience. One of the key experiences I had in this country. We don't have to travel far. And if we can't or don't desire to do that, then we do have the opportunity to open our wallets and contribute. But it's more important to close the wallet and open your mouth, move your feet, and lift somebody. Grateful for that experience that I had. And I hope that Nodu to this day is smiling that infectious grin, even though he's a little bit older and has probably been through different experiences. I hope he also remembers the big American who loved him.